Alright, I'm here with a brand new pickup video. This is highlighting just my pickups from the Too Many Games convention, in my overall trip out and back there. So if you're looking for, if you watch my videos mostly for garage sale pickups, stuff like that, this is not the video for you, I'm sorry, but another one of those will be up real soon. But this is my convention pickups and overall trip pickups. When I went out to Too Many Games in Oaks, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. So that was cool. Overall, the trip was a good time. I had a great time. Too Many Games was a real good convention. This is the third of the, big conventions. I've been to, probably 24 conventions overall, but this is the third of, the big conventions that I've been to. I went to MagFest 2014, Con Bravo 2015, and now this year I went to Too Many Games, and it was a good show. So on my way there, I didn't find too much in the King of Prussia Mall. I was in there, picked up a copy from, I don't remember the store, CEX. I picked up a copy of Mario Strikers for the Wii. Mario Strikers Charged. This was the only Mario game I didn't have for the Wii. And the Mario Strikers games are pretty fun. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but Mario Strikers is pretty fun. This was only $8. I thought that was a good deal. This is one I've been actively looking out for, so that was cool to grab. Okay, and that's all I grabbed on the way there. So going into the actual convention now. The first pickup I got, I was pretty happy with this buy here. I picked up a boxed complete copy of Snowboard Kids for $55, which was a real fair price. I have this game already, so I'll flip one of the cartridges, and I have an extra manual, so I'll sell it with that to make a little bit more, to make some of my money back. But $55 was a super solid price for that, so I was glad to grab that. Other than that, I picked up this copy of Shenmue for $35, as you can see there. It was complete, had the passport disc, had the passport manual, everything there. It even came with this. Let me see if I can find it in here. It came with an extra disc, a burn disc called "What's Shenmue?" The guy was trying to tell me what this was, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, buddy." Yeah, I don't know much about that. I'll have to see what's even on there. But someone tell me if he was trying to tell me it was something like a DVD of cinematics or something from the game. I don't know. But yeah, this is one I've been wanting to pick up for a while because I've wanted to play this game for a while. It looks totally up my alley because I'm a big Yakuza fan, and this is, the same team working on it as the Yakuza series. And I kind of like, it looks kind of mundane, and I kind of like mundane games, so this looks right up my alley. I'm looking forward to giving this a play. And yep, it was complete and everything. So $35 is really fair. Everyone always wants like $50, $55 for this game, and I'm like, it's not worth that much. It's right. You can pick up a copy of it on eBay all day for $35 if you just are smart and you just look around. So do that. Don't pay like $50 or $55, or do. I don't really care. Just let's see what else I picked up. The funny part is the only stuff I picked up at the convention, save for a few manuals, was N64 and Dreamcast games, which I guess is good because it's the two systems I'm going for a full set of. But I would have liked to. I had a bunch of games that I was actually looking out for, PS1, some PS1 titles, and just boxed good like Super Nintendo games and stuff. But I didn't really find any. I didn't find some of them, and some of them I just didn't find for a good price. Because conventions, sometimes people have convention prices. Or people are going to have convention prices, but you always find vendors with good deals, and that's what I did here. Next I'll show, I got these two here. Phantasy Star Online and Phantasy Star Online version 2. Which I'm glad to grab both of these. I don't think... I've read mixed things if playing these offline, like the offline components of these games, is worth it. I know that you can... I know that you can, work with your Dreamcast to get it to still online and get a private server. I'm not interested in going through all that trouble. But I've read mixed things to see if these are actually worth playing the offline components. Someone let me know if you know anything. but those were good. The guy wanted 12 for both, and I got him to do both for 20. I didn't even have to ask him. He's like, I'll do them both for 20. I'm like, okay. So that was a good deal. Some other stuff. One booth, guy wanted $10 each for his good manuals. So these are the ones that I was missing for my GameCube collection, Mario Party 5 and Zelda Collector's Edition. As well as he wanted $1 for this one that I needed, Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. I have it in the box with the cartridge, but I did not have the manual, so it's good to complete that. And he wanted 15 for Army Men Sarge's Heroes. So overall, this came to 36, and he did 30 for the pile. So that brought the manuals down a little bit, because 10's steep for manuals, even if these are good ones. But getting that down a little bit was good, and getting another box game as well. I am going for the full 64 set. I'm not trying to get them all boxed. I'm trying to get as many as I can boxed. Trying to get them all. I've been asked this before. That's why I'm addressing it. Trying to get them all boxed is a little ridiculous, and with certain titles, it's kind of absurd with the prices. So just trying to get what I can in the box. Another booth, I got a copy of Crazy Taxi 1 for $8. I was missing this game from my collection, which is, it's probably one of the more common games, but everyone always wanted too much. People were at the convention were trying to ask like 15 to 20 for this, and it's like about a $10 game or so, $10 to $12. So 8 was pretty good. I have Crazy Taxi 2 and played that one a lot, but I did not have Crazy Taxi 1. Other than that, at the show, picked up from the same guy. I picked up same table. I picked up this copy of. This is just the box for Blast Corps. I had the game and everything. He had a complete, and I just needed the box and manual, but I actually have two extra manuals for this game. So oh well. But he sold the box to me and manual to me for 10, which I thought was fair. I have a box for it, but it's super sun faded. Like the front, there's no color on the front anymore. It's all white. So I didn't really want to keep that around. And also, I got this copy of Madden 2001 in the box for $5 complete. A little bit of a later release title. So glad to grab that one as well. Moving on here. Let me see. Which one's what I want to do? I only got 2 more piles left. I'll do this one. One seller had a thing going. I can't remember what he had $5, I think, worth 3 for 10, and his $10 games were anything that was $10 on his table were 3 for 20. So essentially buy 2 get the third free. So I picked up some Dreamcast games. Of course, knowing me, I got Snowcross Championship Racing, F355 Challenge, and Frogger 2 Swampy's Revenge. All of those, 20 divided by 3. 6 and change for those, so that's pretty good. And the last one I did was actually my last buys of the show, so it works out nicely. None of that was in order except Snowboard Kids was the first buy of the show, and I guess this stuff was the last buy of the show. I didn't intentionally do that, but it works out. One seller had some box games, $5 each for the 64. Missing manual, but I had the manuals, I think, for both of them. I know I have the manual for this one, Rainbow Six, so that was good. And then WWF No Mercy, so that is good. And he also had a copy of Bang Gunship Elite for $10, so this is a pretty reasonably fair price for that, so I grabbed that one. Another one I didn't have. So 20 for all that, pretty solid deal there. And that's all of my Too Many Games pickups. All in all, I didn't really spend too much at the show, and I got a lot of good stuff. I spent around, was it, I don't know, a little less than 150, and I got some pretty solid stuff. Be able to make some of my money back when selling the Snowboards Kid Cart and all that. So maybe that Blast Corps manual, but I'm not going to make much back from that. I think that thing's pretty rough. But now I'll get into my finds on the way home. Had a great time at the show. It was good to go. It's always fun to go to the bigger conventions, even if this area is about 8 hours away from me. But it's always fun to go. And on the way back, I stopped at 2 exchanges on the way back, and both of them I did pretty darn well at. So we'll go into the first exchange I stopped at, where I spend the majority of my money. I had traded in a bunch of my stuff, my doubles and stuff, to the exchange to get a trade card. So I didn't actually have to pay too much out of pocket for this stuff. I had a Sega lot, which you'll hear about in my next pickup video. Unfortunately, you won't see because I lost the footage for that. I accidentally got deleted. But I had a bunch of Sega Genesis sports games in the box that I just didn't want. So I traded all those and had a bunch of other miscellaneous crap, and I traded all that and got cards so I could pick up some games. So I picked up here 5 Dreamcast games at this exchange, and they were Speed Devils Online Racing. Nothing too interesting there. That one was 5. Max Steel, that one was 6, which is reasonably fair for that. I see that one a lot, but it's usually a little bit higher on that. The next Tetris Online Edition. Bust-A-Move 4, that's a good one to grab. Bust-A-Move is pretty fun. And then this one is really uncommon. You wouldn't think it, but this one is like super uncommon, but it's not worth anything because no one cares about this game. But I never see this game. There's only ever like less than 10 listings of it on eBay. I mean, it's pretty uncommon. Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire? But no one really cares about that. And that was 8. And the Tetris and Bust-A-Move were both 10. But I didn't pay hardly anything for the stuff that I traded in, so this stuff was really cheap to me. So glad to grab those. And also, when I was there, I'm not going to flip through all of these. I picked up a whole bunch of Nintendo Powers. So I'm going to get those over. I got 27 of them. I looked at the receipt later. They only charged me for 25, so sorry. I don't know. They scanned each individual one, too. I don't know how that happened, but they're all $2 each. Got 27 Nintendo Powers, mostly N64 and early GameCube era. They had a bunch more. I either had them or they were in pretty rough condition, so I passed on them. And some of them were $5, and they were even rough, too. More interesting issues. But I grabbed all the ones that were $2 that I didn't have or that were in good condition, good enough condition. I always like to just pick up a bunch of Nintendo Powers and kind of fill in the gaps in my set. I have a lot of them. Mostly 64, GameCube, and Wii era. It's harder to find the older ones, but I have a good set of Super Nintendo ones. Maybe one day I'll do a video on my Nintendo Powers, but that's not what I'm going to do today. Picked those all up. I'm glad to grab those. And I needed this game. I've had the box for it for an eternity. Probably like 2 to 3 years. I've had the box laying around for this game. And I never find it because it's pretty uncommon. For NES, Muppet Adventure, it's a real crap game. But, oh well. I have the box for it, so it was cool to complete that one. So that's what I got all at that exchange. The other exchange, I just grabbed one game, but I grabbed Record of Lodoss War. This was $35. I ran out of my trade credit by then, so I had to pay like $10 out of pocket or something, but that was all right. That was a good one to get. So I did a good job on this trip picking up some Dreamcast and N64 stuff. That's what I'm really focused on at the moment, picking up, as you can tell with my videos. So I'm sorry if that doesn't interest you. But when I go to garage sales, I'll pick up anything and everything that's good, and that's how I built out my NES and Super Nintendo collections for the most part. But you don't really find Dreamcast stuff at garage sales. I have, but it's pretty few and far between. So you gotta really do it right when you go to stuff like this. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you were at Too Many Games, tell me what you picked up. Tell me how if you had a good time or not. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ObjoGaming on both. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.